A brand new game, and I don't mean just for me. This game literally came out at about 11 o'clock this morning. Welcome to Moonlighter, a game that is largely dungeon crawling. There we go. Largely dungeon crawling. I haven't seen much of the story, but basically picture Stardew Valley, Binding of Isaac, and some Zelda, and all the good parts from that, and just throw it all together. It's quite beautiful. Yeah, again, the left-right on this, for whatever reason, is C and Z. Like, see how it's got C on the left?
Ah.
I will warn you, for anybody that wants to pick up this game, it is $20 on Steam. It is also on PS4, Xbox One, and it is, at some point, coming to the Switch as well. Yeah, those are going to be the keys you're going to have to get used to. Change weapon doesn't happen that often, but yeah. Yeah, little strange. So I'd recommend if you get this on PC, have a controller on hand. I played it just long enough to get semi-used to the keyboard controls, so I might actually be stuck with it until I can tell my brain otherwise. But we're going to roll with that for now, and if it's a little too weird for you, then we will just switch over to at least my controller, because we know it works.
Main attack, secondary attack, and then... It throws me off because those aren't in order.
Yeah, no. I haven't used this. I've played for about an hour and a half, and I've not used the secondary attack at all. If it makes you feel any better. It's stuff like, with the swords, you do a spin attack. With the lance-based weapons, you do like a charge attack type of thing.
It's a new game?
Yep. HarmlessSky will be playing the game because I've already played through a little bit of it, so yeah, by all means, erase that data. That was just practicing, making sure I knew the controls and it worked. I would keep...
Hard recommended.
Honestly, it was not that bad on hard. It really wasn't.
Go with it.
As long as you... if you played any type of dungeon crawler game and you're relatively careful with your health, honestly, it has not been bad thus far.
Cool.
I will say this does pull one of my favorite elements that they never used in Zelda that I wish they'd always done. The idea of, like, completely rebuilding a town from the ashes.
Oh, yeah.
I'd always hoped that they would have done that in Twilight Princess with the Goron village, or Kakariko village, but it never really quite happened the way I predicted. It was just more like, well, now some Gorons live here. Well, now some Zoras live here. That's about it.
This came kind of close to that in Breath of the Wild with the... That town that you can build.
Yeah, that town that's like way off on the right. That was really cool, though. I'm glad that they did that.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that side quest.
I think that's the only place in the game you can get the Hylian shield fixed.
Really?
If I remember correctly. I don't think you can do it anywhere else. Or maybe you can, but I know for a fact you can do it there, so...
Okay.
Thankfully the introduction is not long. You actually do need to press J to continue here.
How many times I have pressed?
Honestly, the loading screens aren't bad. It's really just in this start, and it might also be because OBS is running at the same time.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, thankfully the default movement keys are not bad.
Whoa.
Now, can you solve this puzzle? I'll give you a hint, it's not very hard.
Yeah.
Now, can you solve this puzzle? I'll give you a hint, it's literally the exact same thing you just did. Can you solve this third puzzle? It's still the same thing! Alright, now you actually have to do something different besides rolling. You have to use your broom lance or broom sword.
Hey, the stereotypical slime enemy.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, except for once, the collectibles for the slimes are actually useful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would break the pots too, see if we can find more of them. They're used for making your potions. As you can see, it is very easy to lose your health. You've already lost 12, and that was just from a slime enemy. But you can auto-heal by, if they're in your hotbar, which they are right now, you can press E and use one, and it heals for 40.
Oh, nice. So I'll wait on that. Ooh, nice combo.
And as it mentions on the top here, the treasure chests that are in a room will only unlock once all the enemies have been beaten, as will the doors. I will warn you, I found a mimic earlier, so be careful with those.
No, not a mimic.
Yeah. So this is where you pick up your materials. These can be used to either craft your upgrades, or you can use them to sell items, which we'll get into later. So you can either pick them up individually. It took me a while to realize this because I'm an idiot. But yeah, if you don't even have to hold down J that long, it'll grab the whole thing. A lot of items can be stacked.
Cool.
And then if you're ever on this side, or like on the side with the chest, and you want to move everything, you hit Z and just move it all, or you can move it all back into the chest, which there's no reason to do.
Yeah, just want to lose all your stuff. Okay,
So yeah, try doing it now. Just hit Z. There you go.
Nice. Okay. You're supposed to die here, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I was wondering how long it would take you to realize that. Yeah, no, you're supposed to die here.
So may I lose all my stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's use it all! Okay.
Or you could try to crash the game!
Either one works for me.
If you crash the game, does that mean you win? I feel like in a way crashing a game does mean you win, because you beat the game in a way.
Okay, I can't even hurt those guys, yeah. Take me!
Take me to your leader. You're now their leader, take you to you. Yeah, thankfully the weapon that they give you outside of the tutorial is not a piece of crap.
Oh, that's good.
I've only played with the lances and the sword and shield combos, but I've liked the sword and shield way more. But there are two-handed swords.
Nice.
And there's bows and arrows that look really cool, because as far as I can tell, you have infinite arrows. It's your firing speed that goes down. And I love infinite arrows in games.
Yeah, I've always liked lances in games where like I'm in like Dark Souls and Salt and Sanctuary. I really liked the lances in that game.
I think it's just because the lances I play with here are way too slow.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten that one and one other one that did more damage, but it was about the same speed. I feel like if I found like a fast one like Breath of the Wild, probably love it.
I didn't like the lances in Monster Hunter World though. They were like really slow. They're always paired with like a shield and.
Oh yeah. I usually don't pick them because I usually don't like a lot of the units they're based on, but in Fire Emblem I usually like the lances more than the other two weapons. Because the axes will miss every other hit, and the swords are kind of weak, but I like the accuracy of the sword. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh god.
Yeah. It had to be done. The only difference is he gives you the sword and the shield.
Oh, nice.
I will admit, one of the things I do like about the keyboard controls is that the block and the attack are right next to each other. So if you want to like swing and then immediately block, it's right next to it. So basically the way it works is the shop will open up in the morning and you'll have your items placed out on a table that you want to sell, and then people will come by and look at them, and depending on what facial expression they have, like she had the happy face, you'll know if you're giving them a good deal or not. If it's too high priced, then they won't buy it because it's too expensive, but if you sell it for too cheap, then obviously you're not making the full amount that you could be.
Yeah.
And so what it does is in that book that you switched over to earlier by accident is it keeps a log of all of that stuff. So if you find like the optimal price for something that you're supposed to sell it at, it will keep a record of that. Nice. And so you'll notice next time. And also the next time you put it on the table, whenever you store it on there, it'll default go to the highest price that someone will have ever bought it for.
Nice.
And then, of course, some stuff you might want to keep for, like, your upgrades.
Yeah.
Which I did not realize when I sold all of my slime gel, and I should have saved it for potions. And yeah, if you sell the same item too much, then it will be low in demand, so it will make it to where you can't sell it for quite as much. But more often than not, you're better off making the price value initially, if you don't know it, really high. Because if they don't like it, they'll just walk away, but you'll always have customers throughout the day. So you can just keep lowering it until you hit the amount you want.
Nice.
If you sell something that's like... Because I had one thing that I sold for like 300 gold that I'd found kind of near the bottom of the first dungeon, and apparently it was a steal for it, so I should have sold it for like 500 or 600 even.
Yeah.
So yeah, they give you an idea of what it's like here, so the popularity of it, and then how much you've sold it for and what reactions you've gotten. So if you get the third one in between the happy and the super upset one, they'll still buy it, but it'll make the demand go down. And then the first one on there is you sold it for too cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate the fact that L is go back. And then during the night, you'll head out and get pecked by an ostrich. You'll head out and go through the dungeon. If you get reactions, you take Benadryl. Good idea. I say that, and I did have some Tylenol today because I kind of had a headache.
Boy.
My boy. Renoka, what a town.
Oh, no.
This is where your potion shop will be when you buy it. Thankfully, buying the first two stores, the armory and the potion shop, are really inexpensive. After you get out of the first day, they give you the ability to buy it, and it's only 500 for each shop. The third one, I think, is 500. I'm not sure. Hit I real quick. What's in your inventory? Oh, they actually did let you keep some stuff. That's right. The first 5 objects you collect in your inventory, those, whenever you die, you keep those. You lose, I think, everything else or almost everything else. So if you want to have like a completely empty inventory because it will fill up fast, you can go back to your store because it's also your house, and there's a treasure chest in the back, and you can put stuff in there.
Nice. Dungeons. Dungeons. Okay.
So there's 5 different dungeons. The only way to unlock the higher level dungeons is by beating the boss in the lower level ones.
Makes sense. Golem dungeon. I hate golems.
I will warn you as well, the dungeon reformats every time you go back to this, so the layout will not necessarily be the same as it was last time.
Okay.
So usually the gamble is, if you go through an entire floor, like floor 1, it's probably going to be pretty easy as a whole, but the items aren't going to be as good and your backpack will fill up faster. Granted, you don't have to keep every item, but if you go to lower levels in the dungeon, you'll get better stuff, but of course the enemies are going to be tougher.
Right. Okay, I don't like you. Ow. Ow.
Yeah, what I found is the best way to deal with those guys is literally just run up and hit them and then guard immediately.
I don't have any potions either. God damn it.
No. There is a way to heal in the dungeon, though. Hopefully you'll find one soon, but there's like little pools.
Ooh.
Actually, this looks like where you need to go. So it's dark. Yeah, it does borrow some elements from that, yes. Done gone, lost as marbles. I love that line. I feel like that's a good thing everybody should put in their will. So whoever found me, sorry about the smell.
Yeah. Big boss gonna kill me.
I supposed to let them all out. Now I have to chase this weird creature that stole my stuffs. Ah, Big Boss gonna be so upset with little me. So yeah, this just shows you the order of the dungeons. I've only gone through a little bit of one, though. I've definitely not made it the second one yet. So basically, the idea, it doesn't explain this very well. It gives you a lot of these little messages. The idea is to basically pick up lots of stuff and then teleport out when you are full on items. In this case, because it's a tutorial section, it locks you in this room, so you're forced to... Yes, you're forced to leave. I think it's set up, though, that so you go through a specific amount of rooms in this first dungeon the first time you come here. I love the color of that green, though. It looks really nice.
It does.
Found old Pete. He was always old Pete, even when he was just born. That was his name, Old Pete.
I'd have to wait for him to walk off screen.
This game likes torturing you like that.
And then the camera just pans over and he's gone anyways.
Yep. So yeah, this is where you can improve your town or your shop.
I don't got any of that.
You actually will pick it up pretty quickly. The cores you saw that you picked up, like the little brown spheres that had like the yellow marks on them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that those sell for 100 apiece.
Ooh.
I remember that one specifically, and then this is what you use to upgrade your shop. I think all I've done on this is the cash register,
Yeah.
which is compels them to tip more.
Cool. So I can.
And then you set the price below it.
Okay.
And since you know whatever that was for 100, you can lower it. I will say though, when you're on the menu on the left, if you hit C to quick place it, it'll make it go by a lot faster.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like you still have to go and set the price, but instead of having to drag it all the way over there, it just does that.
Oh, nice. For 200.
I would say more like 2.
Oh.
A lot of if you find something in abundance, it's probably crap.
Right.
I know you've got like 42 of it right now total. The one right
yeah.
below where you are, the green whatever it is. Those only sell for 2 each.
Really, just 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I can only sell stacks at a time.
Yeah.
So like that. That's probably a good upgrade material, huh?
I don't know, because I've only upgraded one thing, and all I needed for it was steel parts. It was pretty easy to get. And iron bars, I think, and it was like literally just an iron helmet that you wear. Which, interestingly enough, there's no defensive stat in this game. Instead of you getting 40 defense, it just adds 40 to your health.
Huh.
Which is not something that a lot of places do.
I'm assuming this thing is worth a lot.
It's 100.
Okay.
That's one of the few that I actually remember, despite having played this for an hour and a half.
Okay.
And you'll be able to add more stuff onto the table as the day goes by. Like,
right.
in theory, if you get really lucky with your prices, you could sell everything you have.
Nice.
Doesn't sell for quite as much as a Justin Bieber song. Take that as you will.
Oh no, he was way too happy.
No, it'll show like the little gold coins in his eyes. If,
Okay.
yeah, like that, if it's too cheap.
Darn.
This is why I can never be a good shopkeeper. If somebody had that look in their eye, I'd be like, I don't want you to have something for less than it's actually worth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, do y'all want some jalapeno poppers?
No, we just
Yeah,
ate.
we just stay.
Okay.
There you go.
Alright, I thought it was a shot in the dark, but
Okay, there. Nope. There you go.
Yep. And then, like I said, once you get something optimal price, if you quick sort it, I guess that must have been too much. If you quick sort it, it'll immediately go to the optimal price if you found it.
Okay. Okay, so that was too much. Say 5. Still too much?
Yeah. That happens with a lot of pieces of material I found. Even the ones that seem like they'd be worth a fair bit.
Go 75.
Oh, you know what I never tried doing? I never tried actually like punching it on the keypad to see if you could just type it in that way.
Oh yeah.
That might work.
I didn't pay attention to that guy.
He had normal. So like if you put that on the table with like the quick effect, that should give you the exact amount you need.
Okay, so
Yeah, so it's 2.
might as well.
I think that's probably why I got used to the keyboard. Is once I figured out how to do things quickly, it didn't bother me that much.
Yeah. Everybody wants whatever that is.
Vines.
No one wants my bars. You, sir, you know what you want. You want that. You want that, dude. You get it. Oh, come on! It's good, I promise!
Try like 30?
Yeah. Okay, how about now, you big bearded man? No, look at it again. No.
He'll probably come back. Somebody will.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay! Alright, I need new inventory. I don't know what to sell sticks for.
I think they sell for more than the vines, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, considering the vines only sell for 2.
I think they sell for... I want to say it's 3, but that might be wrong, actually. I don't remember.
Well, we'll set these vines for 5, and then we'll set these vines for 3. And we'll see which one does better. Those vines are special vines.
I didn't realize you had the little purple thing in the top of your inventory, too. I think that sells for a pretty good chunk, like 300, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I just found that 5 was actually the optimal for that.
Nice.
So then we will sell this for... We'll try 300.
I might be wrong on that, but I think it's at least 100.
I have no clue what the fuck it is, so we'll see. Give them roots, baby. Man, I'm doing good.
You should see when you get into lower rooms. There was one day. It was like the third day I played. I made like almost $4,000 in one day.
Dang.
I know. I was like, holy crap! What was this gonna be like when you get to the like really high stuff?
Sold so many vines.
It's beautiful.
Golem cores. Damn, man. Damn.
Only making money with that, that easy in real life.
Yeah, alright.
I would go ahead and empty out your inventory if you've got any extra.